Once upon a time, in the not so distant past, it appeared the Brooklyn Nets were on an undeniable path towards the NBA championship. After trading for James Harden and joining him with the team's previous season new additions, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, Brooklyn and its newly formed trio were the talk of the NBA world, being automatically crowned as a future champion by a large amount of fans and national sports shows. At the time of the Harden trade, the defending champion LA Lakers were in first place, followed behind the LA Clippers. The two super teams out west were off to good starts. Brooklyn was in sixth place and looking for a kickstart. The trio would be instantly viewed as the super team of the East, ready to contend with either LA squad. But then, everything that could go wrong did go wrong. So, just what caused the biggest implosion we've ever seen in NBA history? Well, in this video, we'll discuss.
The Brooklyn Nets are going to win a championship this year or next year or maybe both.
No. The Nets have to make the finals. They have to make the finals. This is the only big three in the NBA. I don't mean they're two great players and here's their third best player. I mean big three. And whenever we've seen a big three, they at least make the finals.
So many questions about Harden right now. What do we know?
What we know is, from what the people that I've spoken to, he wants out of Brooklyn.
Hey James, there's some reports out today that suggest that you might not be happy in Brooklyn or with the rotations that are happening. I'm just wondering, if you can speak
Reports
to
from who? All right, then.
Bleacher Report.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The Brooklyn Nets are trading James Harden to Philadelphia. What do you think of this trade request?
Idiotic. Let's get that out the way. Here's a guy in Kyrie Irving that for the last 3 years who's gotten most of his money but missed more than 50% of his games.
Kevin Durant is headed to Phoenix.
Brooklyn Nets, that great experiment. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, James Harden. It is finally over.
With so much drama and distractions in such a short amount of time, the implosion of the Nets wasn't a result of one thing. It was a whole bunch of things. Injuries, clashing personalities, inopportune subpar play at the worst times, big toes on three-point lines, mandates, trade demands that were later rescinded and even more later made again, and the former All-Star reduced to a shell of himself. The circus that would become the Nets didn't lack in basketball shade room moments. It did lack, however, in results. The facts about the could-be champions are this. Since the signing of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving in 2019, the Nets produced one playoff series win, one first-round sweep, Kevin Durant playing in only 129 games, Kyrie Irving playing in only 143 games, James Harden being traded 13 months after Brooklyn acquired him, and Ben Simmons left as the highest-paid player on the team. They couldn't be in a worse situation. Just to put how completely insane it is that Brooklyn is currently where they're at in perspective, we'll look at their timeline, starting in 2018-2019, the year before Brooklyn signed Durant and Irving. In the 2018-19 season, the Brooklyn Nets finished 42-40. They had a roster full of young, talented players, including D'Angelo Russell, Karis LeVert, Joe Harris, Jared Allen, and Spencer Dinwiddie. They finished 6th in the East and advanced to the second round of the playoffs, losing 4-1 to the third-seeded Philadelphia 76ers. July 7th, 2019, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving signed with Brooklyn. KD, coming off an Achilles tear, would miss all 82 games that year, and Kyrie would only appear in 62 himself. January 14, 2021, Brooklyn trades for James Harden. February 10, 2022, Harden is traded to Philadelphia for Ben Simmons. Trade deadline, February 2023. Irving is traded to the Mavs, and Durant is traded to the Suns. On the court, it seemed the Nets never really got off the ground, showing only brief spurts of elite play together, and the amount of times they were actually playing together was even more brief. The trio of Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving played 10 regular season games together and 6 playoff games together. That's right, the greatest on-paper team ever played a total of 16 games together. We never really got a chance to see what they could have been on court. Worst part about it, when all three played, they were 13-3. The playoff appearances were full of letdowns. In the 2021 playoffs, all three played in the first round, and they beat Boston easily 4-1. Then, in the second round, Harden pulls a hamstring 43 seconds into Game 1. He misses Games 1 through 4, plays in the last 3. Kyrie plays in the first 4 games. He turns his ankle in the second quarter of Game 4. He misses the last 3. And poor Kevin Durant, he plays in all 7. He would have hit the game winner if it wasn't for that dreaded big toe. Then he goes 0 for 6 in overtime. And Brooklyn was eliminated 4-3 in Brooklyn. And the following playoffs of 2022 was just a good old-fashioned ass whooping. James Harden was gone. KD and Kyrie was there. Ben Simmons kinda was there. And Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and the Boston Celtics dog-walked Brooklyn. A brutal 4-0 sweep in which there was no moment it appeared Brooklyn could even win one game. 100% humiliation. On the court, the injuries and erratic play no doubt played a huge role in the implosion of Brooklyn. But off the court, the antics and shenanigans probably played an even bigger role. It started in their first year, with KD out the entire year and Kyrie only having 3 games under his belt as a Net. Irving decides to tell the media Brooklyn needs to add quote-unquote better pieces to him and KD.
It's transparent. It's just out there. You know, it's glaring in terms of the pieces that we need in order for us to be at that next level.
Then there was the whole we don't need a head coach thing, followed by a behind-the-scenes ego clash between Irving and Harden, the mandate saga, a Kevin Durant trade request that called for the firing of both head coach Steve Nash and general manager Sean Marks, Ben Simmons being more determined to show off his drip than his actual on-the-court basketball skills, the Hebrews to Negroes controversy, Kyrie Irving demanding a trade 3 days before the trade deadline, and finally, in the early hours of the morning, the trade demand that wasn't met suddenly was, and Kevin Durant was going to Phoenix. Maybe the way things played out were the basketball guys returning a bit of karma. You see, before linking up, Durant, Irving, and Harden all had their fair share of moments that could be viewed as, well, immature. During the 1920 season, KD and Kyrie did more talking than they did playing, with both seeming to send sneak disses at former teammates.
10 seconds left, 1-point game. Who's shooting? You or Kyrie, KD?
Depends on who's hot. I don't see it as anything other than that. Like 1-3 pick and roll, or it's an ISO for either one of us, or it's something great for our team. One thing I've always been comfortable with is, you know, I felt like I was the best option on every team I played for, you know, down the stretch. This is the first time in my career where I could look down and be like, that motherfucker can make that shot too.
KD, let's start off with something really, really good. Top 5 players you ever played with all time. Now, I just want to remind you before you answer this, right? You played with some really good fucking players, and somebody's going to get left out.
They are. And I'm fine with that.
See, that's $1 million worth of game. Top 5 players you ever played with?
Kyrie. James.
Cool.
James.
Mm-hmm.
Harden.
Steph. Clay. Yeah. And I'm gonna go Serge Ibaka.
Damn.
I thought somebody else was going to go
Me too.
from LA, but that's
so
another story.
I'm just. All right. So
I forgot somebody.
Yeah, to me, I thought you was going to say. I ain't even going.
Who?
South Central LA, Russell.
Oh shit! Damn, I am tripping. Russ. Yeah, I'm tripping.
And Harden absolutely disrespected the Houston Rockets as a record label, a crew, and the motherfucking staff to force his way out, rubbing some people the wrong way.
James, just going off these 2 games, do you think it's a good assessment of the kind of work this team still needs to do to get to that level?
We're not even close, honestly. To that team, obviously the defending champions, and to just all the other elite teams out there. You can tell the difference in these last 2 games. Yeah.
Mark Berman.
James, are you surprised that y'all never made a run at all? In this one?
We're just not good enough. We don't obviously chemistry, talent-wise, just everything.
So perhaps the final results were a bit of payback. The Brooklyn Nets were probably better off to sign KD and Kyrie and keep the young up-and-coming players they already had around them. A team with Durant and Irving as centerpieces, with Jared Allen, Karis LeVert, Nick Claxton, Joe Harris, Taurean Prince, and Spencer Dinwiddie doesn't sound too bad. But instead, most of those players became James Harden and the starting position for DeAndre Jordan, who later became Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge, then became Ben Simmons, and ultimately became Cam Thomas. Jared Allen and Karis LeVert have to be laughing their asses off in Cleveland somewhere. I guess in the end, KD, Kyrie, and Harden were just in Brooklyn for a good time, not a long time. Do you think this was the biggest failure in NBA history? Let me know in the comments. Shout out DJ Michi and those hilarious NBA voiceovers. Keep them coming, bro. We out. R.I.P. ISO Gang.
ISO Gang! ISO Gang! ISO Gang! That's the set that I rap. In this war, I'm a vet. My jump shot's so wet. Yeah, I make my own plays. That's the way that I ball. Niggas can't guard me, cause I'm 7 feet tall.
All these years I waited. Yeah, a nigga finally made it. ISO, that's the game. Yeah, I finally got traded. I go hard, not soft. I cook a nigga with the sauce. I hit a nigga with the cross. And I'll leave a nigga lost. Yeah. Big 3 up in this bitch. Ain't got no D, ain't got no bench. Fuck a pass, I ISO that shit. Yeah, we in Brooklyn where it's colder. I put the city on my shoulder. If a nigga try to block my shot, I'ma hit that nigga with a floater.